Okay, so just before we do the chanting to begin the class, I just like to wish my mother, Kay, happy 83rd birthday, which it came on last Tuesday. Okay, so there's that one. And also Leisha's mum's birthday is today too. So anybody else who has a birthday or family have a birthday, then happy birthday to you or to them as well. In fact, every day is kind of like a birthday, isn't it? We wake up in the morning, it's like we're born again. So anyway, so we did the chanting for now. I just wanted to say that so I didn't forget later. Okay. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammasambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammasambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammasambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi Soha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi Soha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi Soha. So I hope you enjoyed the chanting. we should try our best to never see the Dharma as a burden. Like I've mentioned previously, actually, it depends on our attitude, whether practicing the Dharma or any aspect of the Dharma, including the chanting, including the meditations and the like. It really depends on our attitude, whether we see it or experience it as a burden, or whether we are joyful and peaceful while we practice. So if you find it's becoming a burden, then check your mind, just check your mind, check your intention, see what it is that's distracting you. See what it is that's obscuring your mind from seeing the goodness in what you're doing, and in unveiling our true nature, our infinitely compassionate and infinitely wise nature. It can only be a good thing to practice the Dharma, even if we do it now imperfectly, because we are imperfect. That's okay. We will improve over time. The more that we practice, accurately, with good intentions, the more we're consistent with our practice. Okay, so especially in difficult times, we are experiencing a lot of difficulties, both individually and collectively at the moment, as we do always, actually, but it's quite prevalent at the moment. And so it's really important that you practice well, that you be kind to yourself and kind to others. Of course, they both come hand in hand, being kind to self and others. And that you keep a calm mind, positive attitude as much as possible. And, even though you stay informed of what's happening during the difficulties and all of the aspects of these difficulties, don't let them get you down. Whenever you start to feel that you're getting down, either on yourself or the circumstances, then lift yourself up. Try to keep your mind upright all the time, as much as possible. Okay, so now we're going to do some meditation practice, and this will help you to do what I just mentioned. So now gently close your eyes, your lips gently touching. And as we breathe in and out, bring your mind inside your body and release whatever tension you may have in your body. Work the way from the bottom of your body all the way from the toes all the way to the tips of the fingers and up to the top of your head. So we'll take a short while to do this right now before we have the breath meditation. If you find some tension that's difficult to release, then try doing it with, take a deep in-breath and a long out-breath and release with the long out-breath. Or even you can manipulate your body, like stretch your body a little bit. Or just maneuver your body a little bit. Now bring your attention to your breathing, feeling of the breathing as you breathe in and out, your nose all the way into the lungs, then out your nose again. This is all we have to do right now. As I've mentioned before, breathing is the most important physical thing that we do. It's like the canvas or the surface for a painter to paint on. Without something to paint on, there can be no painting. Likewise with the breath. Without breathing, there is no life, no physical life. If thoughts arise or any other mental activity arise, then don't cling to them, don't grasp at them, don't try to forcefully push them away or deny them. By replacing the mind back onto the breath, just let them come and go naturally. And if during this short meditation, your mind starts to become dull or sleepy, then refocus on the breath more brightly. So now you can practice like this for a few minutes in silence. So now, we can be very pleased with ourselves for engaging in this practice and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness. Fill ourselves with this white light or white nectar, which represents the loving kindness. So much so that it now overflows and radiates outwards, initially to our loved ones, family and friends, and fills them as well with this universal loving kindness. And gradually radiate further and further to now include strangers, and also those that we find difficult. May all of these people have happiness, be free from suffering, and be peaceful. Now radiate this love and kindness to all of the living beings around your immediate area. Ones born from wombs, from eggs, from moisture, through transformation, and may live on the land or under the land even, in the waters, fly through the air, all living beings. And even the living beings in other realms, which we haven't mentioned much or at all before during these short meditations. The living beings that are in the lower realms, such as the hell realms, the hungry ghost realm. We do cover the animal realm and the human realm, the jealous God realm and the celestial God realm. Realms, I should say. The desire ones, the form ones, the formless ones. May all of these living beings be happy, free from suffering, be peaceful, and in due course, as swiftly as possible, attain unsurpassed supreme enlightenment. And radiate further and further to include all of the living beings throughout your state or county, and other states and counties throughout your country. And other countries throughout the whole world. And other worlds throughout the solar system. And other solar systems throughout the galaxy. And other galaxies throughout the universe. And all other universes throughout infinite space. Now also be present here and now to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And so now we'll continue our discussion, the commentary on the 6 paramitas, or 6 transcendental perfections. At the moment, we are going into each one in detail, and each 3 aspects of each one in detail. Last week, we covered the giving of material aid, which fits under the paramita of generosity. Remember, generosity is the antidote, isn't it, for self-centeredness and greed and miserliness. The more generous we are, the less of these negatives we are. It's really, even if you don't feel like giving sometimes, maybe you're tired or something like that, just know that actually having a generous mind, this will help you not be tired. It will relieve you of stress, of anxiety, of worries. You know, it's the door to the Dharma. The first step on the way is the practice of generosity. And so today we will talk about the generosity or the giving of protection from fear. The second of the 3 aspects of generosity. So I'll talk about it from an obvious point of view, but also from maybe give you some other things to think about. What I like to say is give you food for thought as well, so you can contemplate it later. Give you something to chew on mentally. And I've tried to actually mention those types of phrases to people who speak other languages as first languages. It doesn't really translate very well, food for thought, or chew on it mentally. I found that out the hard way, and having to explain what they mean and then taking too long. but I think you guys get what I mean. So definitive teachings, yes. Interpretable teachings, yes. But also teachings for you to think about, to really contemplate, to get to know the truth within the teachings, the truth within your own mind. So I've written myself some notes, and all of our good actions, you could say, are giving protection from fear. The more that we abstain through thoughts, our speech, and our physical actions, the more that we abstain from the bad actions, you could say, the more we are giving protection from fear. The more we engage, especially in the good actions of our mind, of our speech, of our body, the more that we are giving protection from fear. Okay? I don't know if you've heard it like that before, but it's the truth. You know, so the good actions are helping to protect others from fear, at the same time protecting yourself from fear. The more you abstain from the negatives, of course, you don't bring harm by killing, by stealing, things and so forth. Obviously, this will alleviate or at least decrease the fears of others. Think about that. Let's say you're living in a small street or a small neighborhood, and all of the people around you engage in good actions and abstain from engaging in bad actions. There's no need to fear. Nobody's going to come and steal things from your house. Nobody's going to be aggressive or start fights. But if it's the other way around, then there will be fears there too, wouldn't there? Very obvious fears. People don't trust each other. Maybe there's paranoia, things like that. So that's what I mean by that. So all of our good actions are the practice of generosity, and specifically giving protection from fear. Then also we can alleviate the suffering of others or the fears of others, especially those that are sick, by helping them, if we can, with our skills, whatever they may be. Obviously a doctor, you know, is helping people to alleviate fears, the nurses and the like. But ourselves as well, even if we have a little bit of information that is helpful for somebody, that is truthful, not truthful, then you should share this with others. The giving of yourself, then, the giving of your knowledge, however limited it may be. If it's helpful, then share this with those that may be sick. Also, those that are poor, materially poor. You can share the giving of, or give the protection from fear to them as well. This could be through your physical actions, your words, also engaging in the other types of generosity, helping them to alleviate their fears. Also, those that have a poor attitude, you can help them to have a better attitude. Normally, the poor attitude, if people are acting aggressively based on anger and based on greed and all of the other negative emotions, or any of them, then actually they're not being kind to themselves. So you can help them realize they need to be more kind to themselves. And then likewise with others. To the depressed, people that are suffering mentally from depression, or mental anxiety, worry, from dwelling on the past, or always thinking and planning for the future and not living in this moment. You can help them to realize, actually, okay, you're experiencing this. This is valid right now, but you can change it. And if you can at all give them good advice and suggestions yourself, and especially leading by example, then this will help them to alleviate their fears. And even if you don't have a lot of knowledge about these things, the psychology, for instance, then you can help point them in the right direction. Or maybe you can learn about it yourself. Maybe you can even read it on the internet, some things that may be helpful for people struggling with these types of mental diseases. You could say the dis-ease. Remember the word dis-ease, lack of ease. starts off with a lack of ease mentally, and then can become a chronic disorder. Okay, so you help people that are struggling with these types of things. The next one as well, I'll give an example of prison. As you know, I used to visit the prisons quite a lot in my life, probably over a 10-year period, over the last sort of 20 odd years. And there's a lot of fear in these prisons. Okay, they may come across as tough guys, always trying to impress, trying to protect themselves, but it's based on fear. Like I said before, people that are behaving in a bad way and they're engaging in negative actions, harmful actions, this is because they have all of these fears inside and they don't even realize it. So maybe visiting a prison or visiting hospitals or visiting places where there are a lot of struggles, a lot of difficulties, then including, I mentioned the prisons, including the guards that work there, very stressful job, including people that work in what we call these days the front line in society, the doctors, the nurses, the police. If we could have an opportunity to help them give up their fears or alleviate their fears, we should do so. Okay, so hopefully I'm mentioning a few things that maybe we don't think about all the time. Like I said, I'll mention the obvious as well, but I have written my notes here based on trying to point out things that maybe we don't think about. Okay, then the next one, I'm using a different lamp today and it's quite a bright, it's very difficult to read my notes. I'll have to write them in text next week or something, and highlight, how we call it these days. So it's saving lives. That's another one, giving protection from fear. If you have the opportunity to save someone's life, the example, for instance, let's say a child is falling into the pool and you can swim well. You jump in the pool, wouldn't you? Without even thinking about it, you just jump in, or down the beach. If somebody is struggling in the waves and you have the ability and you're strong in the waves, then you can go and save their life. And this can relate to other things as well, such as food. If you see people eating really, really bad stuff and you know better, then maybe you can make suggestions to them to improve their diet and like that. So you can help people to save their own lives. That's actually what we really do, isn't it? People have to save their own lives. But if we can ourselves even save somebody's life, then we should do so. The next one, and that will alleviate their fears, of course. Or teaching others to be able to save others' lives. Okay. So if you have some good knowledge of this, different ways to help others in this area, then share it. Let's share it with each other in different ways. Like I mentioned before, good actions, engage in the good actions, abstain from the negative actions. Prevent others from being harmed through speaking, for instance. If you see that somebody, let's say I'll give an example. I used to give this example quite a bit, but I haven't for quite some years now. But let's say, for instance, let's say we're in a Dharma class right now, face to face. And then one of you had told me that some people are trying to hurt you. I'm just making this up as I go now, but try to keep it as short as possible. But let's say these bad guys turn up at the temple. And I know who they are, and I know they want to come to hurt you. So maybe what I need to do as the teacher is get you guys to go and hide, and then go and let them in and say, what's up? And then they say, well, where are these people? Or where is this person? Oh, they're not here. In fact, maybe I'll say with a bit of lightheartedness here, maybe I tell them you've moved to Russia, or you've become an astronaut and you've gone to the moon. But actually, maybe I can just, through lying, you can say. This is the example I used to use if you want to tell lies for good reasons. You shouldn't lie really most of the time. But let's say, they ask you a question and you lie to them. Because if you point out where the person is, or people are, that they want to hurt them, may go and do it. And then somehow we can, we're helping them, first of all, the person who could be harmed, or people that could be harmed, but we're also helping those bad guys from engaging in this negative action. And so try to be kind to them. That's what I should do. But if they start to get aggressive, then maybe I have some skills that can stop them from doing these things. And if I do, then I should do that with a calm mind, with love and kindness, or maybe you could say lock the doors. That's one another way. Call the police, run away. So I think I've made my point. Basically, help others to be free from harm in any way. Then through talk, I mentioned that. Through other skills, speech is really important. I saw a quote on Facebook, which on a picture, it said something like, be careful in social media, because your words, it's like in Buddhism, we practice right speech, avoiding harmful speech and so forth, engaging in beneficial, helpful speech. But when you write something, in these social media platforms, it's like speech, isn't it? So be careful what we write. And so try our best to, sometimes we have to be, straightforward with some certain things, but try to be really kind with the words that you type on that, on these platforms, and engage in the right speech. And so that's using the skills of speaking to help others to be free from harm, and therefore free from having fears. Also, if we can, if possible, we should forbid actions that kill. We should help others, leading by example again, being a good example for others, ourselves, and at the same time, help others to not engage in any actions that would take life. For instance, hunting. The fears, the living beings, they have fears. The hunter has fears. They may try to cover them up, but actually the animals have fears. We should protect them from their fears. It's almost like, this is like preventing them arising, actually. So if you know some people that hunt, especially those guys that hunt just for sport and whatever, please try to stop them through words, through kind words. It may not work, but you should try. You should practice this, the giving of protection from fear. Also, fishing is another one. And a lot of people say, oh, I like to go fishing and relax. Well, maybe you're relaxing, but actually you're harming the fish. And so I've actually met some people that say, oh, I throw them back. And I think, hang on a minute, but they're getting a hook in their mouth. It hurts. You try to put a hook in your mouth, even if it's one of those hooks that doesn't have the thing going back the other way to get caught. You're not going to like it. Who likes going to the dentist? I don't think many people. So also the slaughters, even for food, the living beings that engage in the slaughtering of animals for food, try to discourage that. Now, I know that some of you have had the life, through your life habits and life circumstances, engage in the eating of meat. And you have to now continue to do that because your body is used to it. But try your best to intake less, I myself have been a vegetarian for the best part of 40 years, approximately. And in the beginning, it was off and on, but for a very long time. So I'm not sort of saying, oh, come on my side, my way is the best way. No, if you think about it at a deeper level, then you could realize, oh, hang on, of course, I'm indirectly involved in these living beings getting brought up in an industry that doesn't treat them well, doesn't matter what country you're in. And then their whole life is about feeding them, fattening them up, and then slaughtering them for the sake of money. That's the businesses, okay? And then, of course, we would engage in buying them buying the meat. So it's not the actual cow, for instance, that you're buying, but it's indirectly, there's some small involvement there in being indirectly involved in this industry continuing. And as you know, this meat industry actually is the biggest polluter in the world. You know, some people say, oh, but if we don't eat the cows, for instance, then how, you know, there'll be more cows and then there'll be more methane going up in the air. No, there wouldn't, because they wouldn't continue to have the forcefully, you could say, have the cows give birth and more and more and more and more and more, you know. Okay, so maybe more human beings in the planet. I don't know if we need that, but there are many planets where living beings abide, you know. This one is not the only one, even though people still argue over whether it is or it isn't. Okay, many different types of realms of existence. And so we can show others, you know, to be harmless. If you do practice a vegetarian diet, you can help others to realize that it's a good thing, and you know, maybe they should try it, or you know, different types of vegetarian diet like vegan and so forth. Then you know, or like at very least, like I said, to help others to not have so much. You don't have to have meat every day, for instance. Or if you do, you only have to have a small amount to give you the protein and the different types of oils that you need, you know, that you can actually get from plants. But maybe some people, the constitution in the body is made up now where you can't get enough from those plants. Or for instance, vitamin B12, for an example, you're not making enough of this in your stomach. So you have to have the meats that have this type of thing in it. And the same with the omega-3 oils and things like that. But you can get certain things in the vegetarian diet that cover all of these things, such as certain seeds and nuts and so forth. Okay, I won't harp on about that because this is not a dietary class, but this is a way also of giving protection from fear. Then help others that are in difficulty, whatever difficulties they're experiencing. They have the fears that go along with this. Help them to alleviate these fears. I use the example again of the spider. We're very scared of spiders. Well, most people are anyway. And especially poisonous, big hairy poisonous ones. Then actually you can help. They are more fearful of you than you are of them. But you can also help people that do fear them or any other type of living being, that they can give up these fears. And the spider also can give up the fears because you can be kind to them, you know. Be good company for those who are lonely. Provide refuge for those without a place of safety, and protect those that are in danger or have no protection at all. Now, I know that we've probably only got about 10 or 20 seconds left. So I will rejoice in your goodness ahead of time now. And we'll just pick up these last three sentences next week until we move on to the third aspect of the practice of generosity, the giving of the Dharma. Okay, the giving of the truth. I rejoice in your merits. Take care.